So I need my fighting game fans and anime fanatics or otakus to tap in, because I got to talk about something that just irks me a little bit, but at some point also interests me at some point about it. Does any of y'all remember Street Fighter 2V, the anime from Manga Entertainment? I feel like that anime is overlooked still to this day. I personally felt like this show was awesome at some point of it. Never really gets its due, because when it comes to Street Fighter anime, other than the movies, the animated movies, the only animation that comes to mind from I feel like some people only know is the American animated series, which obviously we know some moments have been very iconic to a certain degree. We know that. But I truly feel like that show doesn't get a lot of more appreciation for what it is. I personally loved the anime for what it was, like the depth of it, the characters, and some of their origin stories in some cases. I will say, however, aesthetically wise, when it comes to some of the characters' looks, it was my only cringe in some cases, I will say. Personally, for three characters in particular, I have to talk about. Let's go ahead and get it out the way. I did not like Ryu's look. I did. We all know Ryu is not Ryu without that headband, whether it's white for Alpha or it's the red one for the later main series. We know this. But what were they thinking when it came to his hair looking like this? It's like they tried to channel him with Tekken's Kazuya. And if that was supposed to be their intention, then that's just really bad. And Harada would have said something about it, I'm pretty sure. I didn't like that of him. It's my one qualm when it comes to his look in that show. Ken looked okay, but that was my one problem when it came to Ryu. Then, of course, there's Cammy. Now, Cammy, I will say, compared to the animated movie, out to the animated film, I will say, she gets a lot more time than usual. But what is with her look? Like, seriously. It's almost like they decided to give her a mix between Sarah from Virtua Fighter and Nina Williams of Tekken. And I hate that I had to bring another Tekken in that sense. She doesn't get the bodysuit, like, at all. It's my one over it. And I know that green bodysuit should have been something in the case of it. But even when she was working with Shadowloo, my own thing is they could have gave her the Queen Bee outfit at least, if anything, and just camo pants. Like nothing. I mean, other than the gauntlets and the trademark hair to some extent is the only thing that recognizes her as Cammy. That's it. And then, of course, we got to talk about the first woman of fighting games, the first lady of fighting games in general, Chun-Li. Now, I will give her a pass because the case of how younger she is in the show and her character and how her character's growth in the show. I will give her that, if anything. Because also, I want to bring up about something else of her in the case of it. But let's just take a moment of just at least appreciating the fact that she gets a lot more of introduction sense of it than the animated movie as well. I'm not gonna lie, the only time that I've seen Chun-Li get a lot more screen time in an animated project was the Alpha animated film. And I really love, and while I love the Alpha animated film, I just feel like if anything, they could have given her more of a color accurate in the costume. It's my only qualm. But let me just say this, the case of I will give her a pass on that. By the way, did you know that one of her outfits was actually inspired by a Karl Lagerfeld shoot from Chanel? Funny story of it. This is the comparison in case you need to see that. It's kind of funny when you think about it. And I know about Karl Lagerfeld because he was one of my one of my many inspirations in the fashion industry, in anything. I've said this before, in case you didn't know. But let me talk about something that was also cool, however, that made up for it when it comes to Chun-Li in this animated show. The fact that we technically get Shadow Lady. If you're a Street Fighter fighting game fan, you know who Shadow Lady is. You obviously know as well as you know about Evil Ryu. And technically we get that with this version of Chun-Li when she's brainwashed by Shadowloo and Bison. And let me tell you, this girl's ruthless. It was the one thing I love about, and I rarely see it a lot, if anything. In fact, it's because of this version of Chun-Li that appears in the show because is what brought me to this attention, because I just saw a cosplayer who basically did an amazing job as this version of Chun-Li, and I gotta say, it's rare to see somebody cosplay that version of her, but it's also cool at the same time. But I feel like when I first saw the show when it was on the Action Channel, and if you know the Action Channel, then you're very familiar with most of the anime on there. the show doesn't get a lot of attention. It's bad enough that I hate that I can't find the show on Blu-ray or DVD. It's rare to find it even on DVD on sale, or even on any streaming networks. And I really think somebody needs to pick that up, because I really don't want that show to just fade away for what it is. Like I said, as much as we are very synonymously known for the American animated series, Street Fighter 2V deserves a little attention, at least a lot more exposure than what it was. But I'm pretty sure all of y'all agree with that, or do you disagree?